2025 Glendale Supercross did not disappoint this year, let me tell you, from thrills and spills to fantastic racing. But can we please talk about this line at the Yamaha tent to see presumably Hayden Deegan? Now, I can tell you, from the moment we walked in to the moment we walked out, that tent had people around it. While we were there, we didn't see Hayden himself, but we got to see a lot of the bikes and the prep going on. I couldn't stay there for too long though, because I had an appointment over at the AEO tent to go talk to Jeremy. Now, if you don't know who Jeremy is, he is the owner and operator of AEO Powersports Racing and the shop. Here's an interview with him about his KTM team. We've talked in the past at the shop a couple times. One of the things that I've always wanted to ask you is about like where you were to where you are now. You have this amazing, beautiful rig. You got all these bikes. Tell me a little bit about how that came about and like how that changes as like a business owner.
Basically, we started out as just a parts service and accessory store back in the day. Obviously, the plan was always to have a race team. But then obviously adding more stores. Mesa was our second store. Obviously, Marietta was a huge step in building the brand.
Right.
And one thing I always wanted to do was not just have shops, but was build a brand. Recognizable across the world now, you know, and then obviously having the race team, and it helps drive people in the store because we support the race team. People see the brand, they want to go to people that are out here, you know, and Rock River, Yamaha was one of the first to kind of do that, and you know, I'd say we're, you know, kind of in lines with that. They help support the industry, give back to the riders, make a team. They're still doing it, you know, and now we're out here having the dealerships, and then you know, a three-man race team.
With everything going on with KTM, everybody is a doomsdayer. You know, obviously you guys ride and find success on these bikes. What are your thoughts? Do you have thoughts, or are you kind of like, this is just a whatever, it'll blow by?
KTM isn't going anywhere, man. It's too big to fail, just like Ford and Dodge, and everybody's had restructures or bankruptcies in the past, and they come out stronger than they were before. Do we know when the dust settles what the business looks like? We don't, and that's kind of the uncertainty of it. But I'm confident, obviously, in the main brand is KTM, and we're going to keep pushing them, and we're behind them, and they're behind us. And I think in the next month there'll be clarity on where it's going. So they're supposed to be in the next 30 days. We're supposed to be hopefully done with this. So. Okay, so we're all 250s. Any future in the 450 class? No, I think if any expansion would be East Coast. Like, I think that would be the next transition on the race side. Is we're a 250 team, we're a development team, and I know last year we tried with Derek to do the 450 program, and that was a lot for me for Derek. Like, I really wanted to give Derek a shot on a bike that I thought he would do better on. You know, he's a bigger guy on a 450, and the outdoors, we're doing outdoors, so adding a 450 to the program wouldn't be that bad. It was a lot harder. Just our staffing is so much smaller and our budget is so much smaller. We never stop. That, you know, on an outdoor day, you're having two classes. It was too much. It was honestly too much for us, and we learned our lesson. I really want to focus on the, you know, the 250 class, and then if, like I said, if the budget comes, we'll go east, and that'll help too. You know, especially if the dealerships
show up on East Coast.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to say any more than that. Like I said, the guy is an absolute legend. Big plans for AEO. Speaking of KTM, we made our way over to the KTM rig and saw the boys over there. Now, I want you guys to do me a favor. You tell me who had the biggest reaction as they rode off right here. And I'm pretty sure we could all tell it was AP in that instance. Now, we went to go over to see Ken Roczen, and man, that Suzuki looks awesome. I have to say the red plate really pops on that yellow bike. Roczen was just in the zone doing his thing, but we couldn't stay for too long because I had to go talk to a privateer by the name of Kaden Lewis. He is awesome. Check him out. Couple questions, dude. Like, we were talking a little bit earlier about where you came from, where we met, the Arenacorss thing, doing pretty well, killing it out there. What is the difference, or what mindset changes between an Arenacorss to come into like this big platform of Supercross?
I think it's a huge step to be able to come to Supercross. Obviously, it's like the main form of racing, but it's like that for a reason. The tracks are gnarly, they're big, like it's hard to get a lap time in compared to Arenacorss. We got long laps, like there's a ton of people out there, it's gnarly. So you really have to have your stuff dialed if you want to get a good lap and get in there.
And so what should we expect from you coming up in the future? Like, is this it? You're going to be doing the SMX thing? Are we going to see you in outdoors someday? Like, what's that going to look like?
Yeah, so for this year, I'm doing all the West Coast rounds of Supercross, and then I don't think any outdoors, just put in a lot of work in the off-season, do some other Arenacorss races and stuff, and then be back at it for West Coast Supercross again next year.
Dude, as always, it's a pleasure to see you, and good luck tonight. After that, I made a quick stop at Rockstar Gas to check out the bikes, but soon after made my way inside for opening ceremonies. Here's AP doing his thing. Soon we got to see Eli with his kid riding around the track. Now I want you to watch. This is the very first race of the night. Julien Beaumer looks like he's on the rails, and he really is clicking in Supercross this year. I actually thought last year he was doing really well for his first season out. Now, we've seen him go down at least twice this season for really small mistakes, and he does that again here. And if you saw it, you realize how bad of a crash it ends up being for everybody else. Now here he goes. You'll see he does the whoop section, and then out of nowhere, slip and done. Here's where it gets crazy though. People start to stack up, and bam, there's a whole entire group of dudes just on the ground seconds later. Now, I want you to watch this other part that's absolute genius from Beaumer. A couple of guys were doing it, including Ken Roczen. Here he goes. He goes double, on, off, triple, and then triple over one of the start straights. Absolutely huge. I don't even know if you can see how big it is in regards to this race. Now I want you to watch how Hayden Deegan uses this same section to make a pass a totally different way. He actually takes a different line than Julien Beaumer does. He goes triple and then another triple and then uses the single to launch himself for the pass. And honestly, that's pretty smart. But I gotta admit, the 450 class has definitely been the craziest class this year. We've seen different people pull the whole shots, like you see here Cooper Webb doing it, and Chase and everybody else is basically lost in the pack, which is pretty crazy. He led those races for a long time, but let's be honest, the coolest part of the night, at least for me, was getting to see Eli Tomac win one of those races. Here he is. He looks so comfortable, so confident, and the crowd loved him. Check this out. Single, whip for the crowd. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will definitely see you guys on the next one.